and welcome to another episode of Nightmare.Explorers from the Other Side. Today we're with the Good Witch of Hollywood, Patti Negri. She is a psychic medium and good witch, best known for her recurring role on the Discovery Channel's top-rated series Ghost Adventures. Welcome in, Patti, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. I don't know, I've actually been talking to the other side since I could talk. Before even school started, I just knew those so-called imaginary friends weren't imaginary at all. They were real beings and spirits. I literally did my first seance, which is one of the things I'm known for, when I was 7 or 8 years old. In my little suburban Los Angeles home, I went into the hall where there was no windows and lights, stuffed towels under the doors. Realized I didn't know any dead people. So I'm like, Marilyn Monroe, John Kennedy, anybody like an 8-year-old knew, and my little windowless, lightless hall filled with orbs and lights and shadows and knocks. And as me and my best friend Sherry Jones went running outside, I was actually jumping up and joy, going, this is real and we can control this. So I think I became a seeker about 13 and studying religion, occult sciences, metaphysics, spirituality of every form, to kind of put titles and ways to look at all of this. It's been good.
So that was basically like my team member Chad. He one of his questions, he was going to be here tonight, but he couldn't. But he asked, when did you realize you had gifts? So you'd say around 7 or 8?
No, before that. Again, before that, both. Again, it was before, I think, kindergarten, when I was actually a really shy kid, which surprises anybody who knows me now. I was a shy kid, and in my room, I just had these friends, and I always had an obsession with the dead, but it was never in a dark or morbid way. It was always just, I knew they had a lot to say, so that's why. And even on the witchy side of things, same thing. I'd find myself in my little suburban yard picking rosemary, picking my mom's mint, stuffing it in her wallet, knowing that would bring her more money. She didn't quite get that. It's like, no, there's dirt in my purse. No, this will bring you money. And it's just kind of built in me. But I kept this world really quiet. I kept it quiet for years because I was an actor, I was a dancer, and then I went into producing, and I was very corporate in my production. I'm like, these people can't know, number one, I talk to dead people, and number two, I dance around bonfires in a cloak, so I kept it really quiet until 2008, and the big corporate crash came, which I was a corporate production company, and reality TV was going like this, and somebody asked me to do a seance on one of their shows, and I'm like, no, private life. But finally they talked me into it. It was the most fulfilling thing I had ever done, and the rest is history. I think 2015, my first Ghost Adventures, and I've basically been doing 2 episodes a year for the last 10 years, which is pretty good for kind of a boy-oriented show. And then anything else that comes up, because I live in the middle of Hollywood, and I'm legit, and I know how to be on camera, so I haven't looked back. It's much more fun than what I used to do.
So going back to the beginning, when was your actual first seance that you ever did?
7 or 8 years old. In my hall. Again,
was it just yourself?
My friend and my best friend, Sherry Jones. Other than that, I'm not sure. I've always been a very magical person. I got pretty young when I discovered witchcraft. I was a seeker. My grandfather, I was not raised with any religion or belief system. My grandfather was a very famous psychoanalyst, and he was a philosopher from Turkey. Very Freudian, very academic in his view, knew more about religion, but didn't believe in anything. He was a science man all the way. I followed in his footsteps. He wrote about religion, but he came from it's all hogwash. Where I came, there's reality in all of it. Maybe the names have been changed. So it's always been a part of who I am. Again, I just kept it separately. Whether we're doing seances around my dining room table, in high school, college, with friends and whatever, it worked. It wasn't playing with a Ouija board like kids normally do. It's just, I kind of knew what I was doing.
So for your first seance, what were your experiences with that, or if you remember?
I really don't remember. Again, it's one of those things when you're just something a part of who you are. Yeah. Beyond that first one, again, that oh my God, this is real, this is doable. When I started doing them, other than that, it just kind of worked into it.
So over the years, how many seances do you think you've actually done?
Wow, I don't know. hundreds more. Because I do a lot of the convention type thing. So there's a difference of a seance at a gallery. To call something a seance, I will do a seance up to 40, or I think even 60 people. But to me, a seance, I lift the veil. That's what I do. So if you don't think you're psychic, now you're psychic. There's a more, I lift the veil so everybody can see, like taking the shades off. To call it a seance, I want to be on the same level. We're in a circle. We don't have to have a table. It could be 40 or 60 people, but we're on the same level. Okay. We're equal. A gallery to me is I am on a stage or behind a podium and they're theater style looking at me. I open the veil differently. I don't open it quite as much because I don't have the energy ball protection of the circle, so I keep it slightly different. They're both equally good, but just different. And how many seances? And I don't know. Again, at conventions when it's less than the 60 people, or again, the setup of it, but a lot of paranormal investigations, they want to do it. Ghost Adventure wants to do it a lot. The YouTubers I work with, mostly Elton Castee, but a whole bunch of different, we do seances a lot. And then I started out doing them around my dining room table. You have friends come over, and then friends have friends come over, and then you're doing a little thing where people, okay, pay some money, and I'm doing it. That all stopped with COVID, and then I started my school at the same time, and people still wanted seances, so I started doing Zoom seances thinking, this can't work, but it works perfectly. In my experience, there is no time and space on the other side. There's no time and space. So even if we're in like whatever minute, Brady Bunch squares on Zoom, we will all get the goosebumps at the same time. We'll all see orbs over your head, over the girl in the corner thing's head. And the spirit communication is just as strong as if we were sitting around a table face to face.
So I was kind of browsing your website a little bit. Like, what are some of the bigger names that you've done seances for in Hollywood?
A lot of them I can't say because there's this thing in Hollywood called the NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So I do work with lots and lots of A-listers and things. Yeah. I don't know. I can't say a lot. Okay. Emma Stone. I probably shouldn't even say that. But a lot of people. Okay. Yeah.
What is the craziest thing that you've ever experienced coming out of a seance?
The craziest thing I've ever experienced literally was someone bursting into flames. I could tell that story. Would you want me to tell the story? Okay. I live in the Hollywood Hills. It's an old 1920s neighborhood. It was the first movie enclave in Hollywood. My house is 1920. They're all in the 20s and 30s. It's a combination of the little bungalows, like where the writer's cabbage, and then the movie star mansion. Little bungalow, movie star. Mm-hmm. Very eclectic, beautiful, creative, right all under the Hollywood sign. There is a well, it's an old Hollywood neighborhood, the very first enclave. So it's very eclectic. There'd be a little writer's bungalow next to a movie star mansion, next to a little writer's bungalow, all dotted throughout the Hollywood Hills, right under the sign. There was a house right around the corner from me, built by Charlie Chaplin for one of his many girlfriends. This one was Mary Astor. She was an old silent film star. And it was a super party house. In the 20s, 30s, 40s, and they knew how to party in the day. And that can always bring in a dark element. It just can. No judgments, but it can bring a dark element. Party house crazy. And then whatever happened, then the Rolling Stones manager bought it in the 1960s. And it was a party house. The Stones stayed there. Mamas and Papas, Graham Parsons, all the rock stars of the day. Yeah. And it was a party house. Then when they moved out, the person who invented the real life sex doll moved in. The real life, whatever. And it got too spooky for him so much. He moved out. And then my neighbor, Marilyn Manson, moved in. Was there for 7 years. So we're filming at his house, haunted house in the neighborhood. It literally looks like it was built by Masons, sacred geometry everywhere. 4-level spiral staircase, which ghosts love that. Yeah. Leaded glass. Literally, there's a compass drawn in the entryway when you come in, like used in ritual and used in magic. So they were doing a documentary about it called The Mary Astor House. 4-camera shoot, so a pretty big size shoot. And I had a bunch of young people at the table, and when you have young people, past puberty but not too far into their 20s, there's so much life force, there's so much energy going on. So we had that energy going in, and a very theatrical. the spirits in the house, they weren't demonic or anything, but they were big theatrical ghosts, big in life, big in death, and so that's what they were. And this one kid broke my one rule, and he got disrespectful, and so I could feel the spirit getting agitated, and then it was just like, yeah, French doors flew open, and everybody's like, ooh, screamed, and the cameras caught it. And again, I'm like, well, that's pretty cool, because we're catching it.
Right.
And then that happened again, French doors, but this kid was getting disrespectful, and I was feeling the agitation of the spirits, not happy, but everybody knew what they were in for, not like one of my private seances. And then the speakers came on, the big speakers that they used to have, that how loud couldn't they get, came on, and it sounded just like a spirit box. Just white noise. Mm-hmm. We looked later, it wasn't plugged in, but you know, that's all we got was a white noise, but still trying to keep the control of things. And then we're working with a Ouija board, which I've worked with safely since I was 7 or 8. You know, the only time I've ever had trouble is when I've forgotten to do something, set up right. Yep. But anyway, we're working with it, but we had set it up right. But this kid said something again really, really stupid, and not him, but the cameraman facing him literally burst into flames. Like literally like a V up his back, like angel wings of fire up his back. He was not standing in front of a fireplace or standing in front of a candle, just literal spontaneous combustion.
Crazy.
He didn't, 2 cameras actually caught it on film. One camera didn't. It starts filming the floor, the ceiling. It's like, it's scary in a small room with a lot of people burst into flames. The poor guy on fire is wondering why everybody's screaming and pointing at him as he's.
Oh, he didn't even realize it?
He didn't realize it at first.
That's
no,
crazy.
it just so big. It just like unearthly how it could, like 2 sides. And so me, cool witch medium Patti, becomes a medic, which I am. I'm EMT, cardiology, but I'm drop and roll and calling in my guardians to protect her. Drop and roll, this is not okay. We are ending, I've never stopped filming in my life. This is not okay. This could kill us all. This could kill you. Not okay. But the cameraman, who was a super skeptic at the time, was so intrigued by this. He's like, no, I'm okay. His shirt burned off him like it was a synthetic. It was a cotton. It should not have burnt off him like that. But he's like, I have a sweater. I could put it on. As I'm looking, the bubbling, blistering on his back, I'm like, you have to go to the doctor. But I talked to the spirits, calmed them down, put way more protections up. They sort of, but didn't promise to be good. The kid who caused it all was no longer going to be a problem. He's like, this is a choir boy in the corner. Mm-hmm. So, okay, we're good now. No more smart aleck. So we finished the seance. More crazy stuff happened. But the thing that's kind of really cool and what turned it into a good story is 3 weeks later, the cameraman, no longer a skeptic, he's like, Patti, look at my back. And where the blistering had been, totally looked like he had went and got a tattoo of a dragon.
Awesome.
Open mouth, sharp teeth, winged head into the shape of a serpent on the small of his back. And that is the exact energy I called in to shut down the seance. That's the magic I work. I work dragon magic. That's
awesome.
So I'm like, oh my God, you have a tramp stamp of a dragon on your back. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Awesome.
It's cool. So he actually wrote a movie about me, but just a medium does every TV show in Hollywood, and then a portal opens. He wrote it with Stephen Norrington, the guy from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, who wrote that in the Blade series. They haven't done it yet. I hope somebody fabulous like Margot Robbie plays me if they do.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be awesome. But and if they do it though, I did.
You good?
You okay? Get some more water?
I'm afraid I'm going to keep interrupting this. I don't know what's going on, but maybe I should head out.
Okay.
You just let me know when you're done.
Okay.
I don't want to keep interrupting you too.
Okay, no, you're good.
I think
Sorry.
Poor thing. Oh, okay.
Where were we?
I have no idea.
The blisters on his back.
No, I think we were talking about the movie.
Oh, the movie, yeah. So if they ever do it, I hope somebody fabulous pays Margot Robbie. I'll take her. But I did sit down with him, because for all of us who do television, who do video, you have to be careful what you say.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, Laurent, you can't say that in a script. And he's like, you said that. I go, I know I said that, but that opens portal, that opens energy. A spirit, energy, good or bad, doesn't know the difference of an actor reciting lines and somebody's really conjuring. So I'm like, let's change those so that they sound as spooky or sound as mystical or sound as magical, but they're not going to open a portal to hell. So if they ever do it, it won't be one of those cursed horror films that there's so many of. That's why more and more films are using consultants now, because if you don't know, if you're working in witchcraft or voodoo or hoodoo, you gotta know what you're doing.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
So, have you ever done a seance like virtually through a computer at all, or is that?
No, that's what I do. I do them with my school. When I started my school, we wanted to, because I teach people how to do mediumship. I teach people how to do seances, because I do believe people can learn it. So we started doing them online, and they're literally just as close as if we were right here doing it. Everybody will get the chills at the same time, we'll get the heavy feeling at the same time, the light feeling. We'll feel something towards Fred over here in the corner of the little Zoom square. Then we'll see the orbs coming into Fred in the corner of the Zoom square. People see it on me, all going across all the time when it comes in once I lift the veil, but not before and not after. I don't believe there is any time and space on the other side of the veil.
That's what you're mentioning.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool somewhere down the line with myself and my team to like schedule a virtual seance, because I've always wanted to be part of one.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. And I've also done with investigations with teams. Again, do a walkthrough. They'll have their handheld walkthrough, and I'll tell them whatever my impressions are. I don't have to be there. Say, okay, I have something really active in the corner. Put your DSLR camera in the corner or whatever, and it usually works.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, any other really notable experiences that you've witnessed over the years for seances? Where you can talk about that.
Did I know? That's so funny, the non-disclosure agreement. I mean,
which I totally get.
Yeah, most of them are, it's not about the sensational of it. And yes, TV wants you to go to the scary places and the insane asylums and the school, but regular ones, I like to go with the ghosts are, happy, and that was the best day of their life, and they got married in this ballroom, and they're swinging from the chandelier. And most of my seance, I'm getting beautiful things. Like, I was doing one, this guy passed away too young, and he had his young child and his young wife there, and they were sitting there with his cell phone, and they didn't have the code, and the spirit gave me the code so they could get off 1,000 pictures and videos. That was funny, because that was about the same time when it made national news, or maybe bigger, that there was some criminal case, and the FBI or CIA, whoever, asked Apple if you could break the code, and Apple wouldn't do it. Oh, well, they should have just talked to a medium, or maybe used a Ouija board. You could have got the code. Yeah. So usually it's stuff like that. It's like, where'd you heal the will? Here, where'd you hide the will? Where'd you do this? And I've had some amazing ones. I was at my house, because I've been to where the Black Dahlia murder was several times. That's actually also in Hollywood. That's called the Sowden House. It was built by a famous architect's less famous son, Frank Lloyd Wright, but his son Lloyd Wright.
Okay.
It's a famous house. It looks spooky. It's supposed to look like a Mayan temple, but it looks like a shark. Mm-hmm. It's modern, of the 30s or 40s, whenever it was built. Very, very haunted. I do believe that's where the Black Dahlia was killed, and many other women that were less accounted for, maybe runaway girls and stuff. Mm-hmm. But not my podcast I have now, my witching hour, but one before that I had one. It was kind of a seance meets true crime. So we were going to do the Black Dahlia murder. So I had an Associated Press reporter came over, one who had covered all she hadn't covered that one. She was older, but she started out with Manson, but an AP who knew crime reporter, and my then producer, and we had all this stuff from it. And my producer, we were going to play with the Ouija board. Again, we did it with her all the time, safely, almost like texting her friend. But I had forgotten, and I hadn't set up my wards, my protectors, my boundaries. And all of a sudden I went, this is not your friend we're talking to. And I had a high chair behind me. This doctor, he just put the deceased just pushed me so hard into the back of the chair. I hear this crack, crack, crack. I'm standing behind the chair. We weren't even sitting down. We weren't filming yet. I heard this crack, crack, crack. I start melting down to the floor. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No." And I always say I'm okay. I'm like, it's a fresh wound.
Yeah.
But I literally had all the cartilage ripped off my ribs and off my floating ribs. Had to go to urgent care. So that was, and then even before I did, it's like, no, we have, with the activity we were getting on her equipment in my home, and my home is well protected. My house is warded because I do magic there.
Yeah.
I do see clients there. So, but what brought into that house, it was so much, it was so crazy. Literally, my producer quit the next day completely. I had been working with her for 10 years on television shows, and now this on my new podcast. She loved the paranormal. It did her in, sadly.
That's sad and crazy.
Yeah. Because things can happen.
They definitely can.
You have to take it seriously. You have to know what you're doing. Don't go swimming in the deep end until you know how to swim.
And it's like, it's all about respect. It's like,
RESPECT.
Or, treat the spirits the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, exactly. With everybody.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into your time with the Ghost Adventures. Tell us a little bit about that and, the stuff you've witnessed and experienced with them, some of the places you've been.
Okay. It is great. I love working with the guys. Pretty much, I've been about 2 episodes a year for 10 years. I think I'm just pushing 20 episodes, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Almost the regular. But I never know where I'm going. It's always an adventure. And if I do know, they won't have me go in. If I know I've been there and I know there's 2 murders in here, we'll talk outside. I'll tell them my experiences because they want it all authentic and authentic. But it's just literally, here's a funny one, because again, the scariest places I've done with them is the Cecil Hotel, and the Black Dahlia house. But some single houses, like the Chatsworth house, was really, really scary. That's a double murder had happened, and I didn't know where I'd been there, and I'm like feeling suffocated, and somebody had put them in plastic bags and shot them, and I felt it all. But here's a funny one. I never know where I'm going. Even with the Cecil Hotel, it was like, downtown LA, be there in 2 hours. Like, okay. And I'm like, there's that water tower. Oh, that's the girl who was floating. But that place is so depressing and so scary. By the time I got up to the door, it's like I just wanted to kill myself. And there they are, ready to go. They'd been there for hours going, okay, Patti, there's 700 rooms, all unlocked, 14 floors. You tell us where to go. And I led them right to a room where I'm going, I got to get out of here, walk over to the window, and I'm opening the window, and Zach's going, close the window. And I'm like, why? He's yelling at me. I led them right to a window. Somebody had jumped out. As I'm opening it, going, I've got to get out of here. And he sat me down. I was like, he doesn't yell at me. So he got me out of that room. I led him to another room where a woman had been raped and murdered. I'm sitting here crossing myself going, I gotta get out of here. It's crazy, that place. Wow. Every room you walk by is another tragedy. It was built and then the Depression hit, so almost 100 years of sadness and depression. So it's almost been a flop house, again, with lots of drug abuse and just people down on their luck. It's so sad. 2 serial killers had lived there. And people thrown out of windows, jumping out of windows. It's dark. I don't even know if it's clearable. I would like to gather every healer, rabbi, priest, magical person of every ilk to do a big kumbaya, hold hands around the place, that place. But my funny story is going on. Again, I don't know where I'm going, so they fly to Phoenix, Scottsdale, and you're a family now, so we don't need a PA to pick you up. We'll rent you a car. Just come. I'm waiting. Well, I need an address. I'm not that good a psychic. I really need a physical address of where I'm going to go. So they go, oh, yeah, okay, it's Scottsdale. So I rented the car. I'm driving out, and I'm driving into the desert. Way into the desert, far. And past the city and all this. I'm a city girl. I live in Hollywood. I'm a city girl. Yep. And then it's not even a paved road. I'm on a blank road. And I'm like, and then I get to this little adobe in the middle of nowhere, and it was still light but getting towards dark. And where's the crew? There's no crew. There's not Zach's bus. Nothing. There's one other little tin can rent a car, and the computer, the tech guy who I knew, like, oh hi, how you doing? Where's everybody? Oh, they'll be here soon. And I'm going to get out of the car. He goes, don't get out of the car. What? There's killer pigs.
Killer pigs?
Killer pigs, yeah. They're called javelina. They're everywhere. They were here last night. I get out my Google, I'm like, and I'm looking, javelina, killer pig. Oh, I look scary. Big mouth, big snouts. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay in the car. I'm a city girl. Killer pigs, they'll eat me.
That's,
Yeah, you look them up. So I'm sitting there going, okay. And I go, okay. He goes, oh, yeah. Watch out for scorpions. They're everywhere. I'm like, what? Yeah, they're everywhere. He goes, but it's okay. They glow in the dark. Have a flashlight. I don't have a friggin' black light. I don't have a black light. I'm in a little rental car in the middle of a desert. Okay, killer pigs, scorpions. Okay, I'm looking everywhere. And then I swear, just to get me, he's so funny. He's like, oh yeah. And then I swear, almost on cue, the wind whipped up through the little yucca, whatever those trees are, those desert trees you only find in Arizona.
Oh yeah,
I forget what they're called, but they look like a man going like this.
Oh, cactus?
Yeah, they're a cactus.
Okay.
They're a cactus that only on one exact level. They're not on a low desert or high desert. But if you picture a cactus with those little arms.
Yeah.
But anyway, he goes, and then the wind whipped up through this. He goes, oh yeah. And then there's valley fever. I'm like, what? Yeah, there's these spores in the air. They get in your lungs. They'll kill you. I'm like, what? And I'm looking it up. Valley fever, parts of Arizona, New Mexico, and you get these. I'm like, oh my God, get me inside. I don't care. Demons, portals to hell, killer pigs, scorpions, and valley fever. Oh my!
That sounds terrifying.
It was terrifying. It was hysterical. And then they pulled up, and it was fine, and no killer pigs. Arizona, it's scary for a little city girl.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so that was a funny one, and sometimes it's always an adventure. And then last year, I think, same thing. They flew me to Vegas and did a rental car, and I was going out into Death Valley, and I'm out going to Death Valley, and it's like I haven't seen another car in like an hour, and all of a sudden it's a 2-lane road, and it was Death Valley. There's no living trees or plants. It's like you're on the moon. And then it's like my cell phone wouldn't work. How they couldn't text me. I didn't have an address. We were going to a place called Scotty's Castle, but there was a little defunct ranger station that we were supposed to meet. And I'm like, what if it's not there? And then they can't text me, they can't call me. My GPS went out. And then when my Apple Music went out, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get abducted by aliens. This is it. I'm gonna get abducted by aliens. And then I pulled up and I found the little defunct thing. And nobody was there again. I tend to be early. And nobody was there. I'm like, oh God. They've all been abducted by aliens. And then one of the PAs pulled up, and then everybody pulled up, and then we did this. Then we all got to Scotty's Castle. But it's always an adventure, and it's not always the ghosts.
Yeah. So have you ever been to his museum in Vegas?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Several times, and the first time I was there, it was filming. It was, I think, a Halloween special, not the second Halloween special, but I didn't know anybody else was there. I didn't know anything. He had me kind of, if you've been to it?
I have not yet.
Okay, you gotta go. Everybody's gotta go.
Oh, for sure.
There's this little gypsy cabin, so he had me in there just seeing what I felt and things. And so I'm telling him what I'm sensing, and I didn't know anybody else was there. And I'm like, man, on the floor this, and the floor that. And again, afterwards, I met my now best friend, Father Sebastian, was passed out on the floor. Bloody Mary, who's now a friend, she was doing a doll, so I'm a doll woman. So I was getting all this stuff. But then he goes, there's somebody I want you to meet. And again, we're running in the pitch dark, holding his hand, running through. He goes, there's a woman I want you to meet. Walk in, and there's this big cauldron, a big pot, didn't think it. And there's this cute little woman who looked like she wanted, English woman, who looked like she wanted to serve me tea, perhaps. She was holding a shovel. Little I know, she was a witch he had flown in from the UK who was doing black magic. He likes to do good witch, bad witch. I'm the good witch. I do white magic. I do good magic, not one word white. But, and she wanted to kill me. She was doing really dark magic in this big cauldron that I did not find out until I saw it on TV months later. That was Ed Gein's cauldron, where he used to cook and eat people, and she was doing, so she was being him right then. She was channeling him and wanted to kill me. It was like really spooky. I mean, had to get between us on that.
Yeah.
And again, this little woman is like, you should be serving me tea and crumpets, not trying to kill me.
Right.
So then maybe the next year or something, happening. This was on Halloween night itself, which is the veil is the thinnest of the world. That's why the ghosts come out at Samhain in my belief system, the pagan. It's the pagan New Year. That's why we celebrate the dead, celebrate ancestors. That's what Halloween is about. But I knew who was there. It was great. Josh Gates was emceeing it, and Chris Fleming, and Michael Amarty, Gary Galka, everybody. And I'm fangirling going, and I'm here with everybody. But so we knew who was there. We were all in the same hotel together. We were in the same green room across the street he had rented, because it was going to be a live 2-hour show. They'd set it up for weeks. Cameras all over the museum. Cameras everywhere. And all of a sudden it was my turn to go in. Nobody gets to talk about anything. And all of a sudden he's like, Lady Snake is here. That's the witch. I'm like, what? He had kept her separate in a different hotel than us, in a different green room, just to surprise me. And she was again doing black magic down in the basement. And now you could do VIP tours, which I highly recommend the VIP tour. It's worth the difference to go into the basement and stuff. But then no one had gone in it. And the same thing again, it was good witch, bad witch. So rest in peace, Lady Snake. I must say she has passed on. But yeah, and I liked her as a person, but she would do things I wouldn't. And again, I do believe there's consequence to cause and effect, action and reaction to things. But rest in peace. And I never wished her any ill by any means. But the first time I was actually at his museum, it wasn't his museum yet. It was a spin-off show we were doing called Deadly Possessions. And he rented the building, which is now his building, and so far he had done 2 rooms, a seance room and a doll room. He wanted a place to put his collections. So he had flown in Peggy the doll, now famous. Yep. He hadn't owned it then. Jane Harris had owned it. He flew her in from the UK, and he flew a woman in, Katrine, who had been given a heart attack, a young woman. 2 people had been given a heart attack by Peggy. Flew them in. They wouldn't even fly on the same plane as Peggy, and he flew me in to do a seance with Peggy the doll, and it was wild. It was good, but all he had fixed up so far was the seance. The rest of it looked like it was 1930s. Before it was his museum, it had been like the Nevada legalist office, like fluorescent lights. But the very next day, Zach was going to go to the Las Vegas City Council and ask them if he could open a museum. And if he could open a museum, he was going to buy the building, and the rest is history. It's it's so beautiful. He changes it all the time. It's so well curated, like a good museum is always. It was a long time before I actually went on as a tour, and it's like, oh yeah, this is here and this is here. It's great. I've got something that was too haunted for me. He's got there's some of my stuff. He's got videos and things, but it's great. If you like this paranormal thing, which everybody watching does,
for sure,
you got to go. It's great. And now when I go, he bought Peggy, and she has her own room with some other dolls. It's like, you gotta be careful with Peggy. Some people don't even go in the room, but you're supposed to go say hello, and you say goodbye, just like with anything. So I go in there like, hi Peggy, you look so pretty today. She curses at me. Oh, you remember me, Peggy? Yeah.
So does like anybody ever get to hold Peggy, or is that just kind of
No, you do not hold Peggy. I mean, no, he had somebody, when we did that live show, he had somebody hold another doll, but not Peggy.
I lost the light over here.
We lost the light. Ooh.
More spooky. We're talking about Peggy. The light goes out.
She does things. She does things. And we're not even near Las Vegas right now. But I do feel some stuff going on right now. I'm getting pressure in my left ear, so they're over by you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Or it could be the kids out in the hallway. Who knows?
Could be that. Or ghost.
So what other locations have you been to over the years that like really stand out, that like, either change your life, makes you want to go back, shook you to the core?
Let's see. The one, it's so weird that I really wanted to get to was Gettysburg, and I don't know why. I'm not particularly a history buff, and I'm not a war buff, so it's like, I don't know why. Maybe a past life there or something, but that place, you just feel the heaviness. You feel how many lives are lost there when you're going through the battlegrounds and things. So that was just high on the bucket list, and again, did not disappoint. We did some nice positive magic there to just help the spirits. So that was really interesting. There's a place in Texas I go a lot with Natalie Paraflix. It's called the Old Park Hotel. I think it's for sale now if anybody wants to buy an old haunted hotel with about 13,
I wish.
14.
I just heard that, what is it?
Conjuring House?
No, not the Conjuring House. Some castle over in Ireland's for sale, and the minimum offer is $4 million. I'm like,
I love it. I
wish.
love European castles. I did a tour of Ireland 2 years ago, a very magical tour, and this past year I did Transylvania. I did a very vampire-focused Transylvania, Romania, and I got to do ritual in the Hoibachu forest, which is supposed to be that one. There's one in Japan and the Hoibachu in Romania off the Carpathian Mountains, supposed to be the most haunted in the world. People disappear, aliens, cryptids, ghosts, and I got to do ritual, and it was so magical. Yeah,
that's a bucket list location to go to is Romania. I'd love to go.
It is one of the. I fell in love. I would never. It would not have been high on my bucket list. It is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. The people are wonderful, whether you go to the big cities like Bucharest or Cluj, or you go to the little towns dotted throughout, it's wonderful. And then you're going to these old castles. We did the whole vampire thing, and so we're doing vampire ritual, but we went to Bram Castle, and we went to where the real Vlad the Impaler, the ruins there, and ancient castles, and you gotta go. It's amazing.
Someday, we as a team, someday want to do a European trip.
Do it. Yeah, just make it happen. I'm a manifest ghost. You can make it happen. Just do it.
It'll get there, not anytime soon.
Because they're different. Spirits, they're different. Number one, they don't all speak English, so you're like butchering other languages. But I live on the West Coast, so we don't have anything really old. We don't, because it's new. So the oldest thing we have would be the mining town. So we go to Virginia City, or we go to Nevada City, go to Vulture City, Arizona, which are all great, but those are the old miners who came, and the kind of spirit you're going to get. So I love going back east or Midwest. You get things at least from the 15s and 1600s. But there is one in Texas, the Old Park Hotel that I was saying. But I hadn't set up my protections yet, and they're nothing overly evil there. Most places have a good mix of everything, but I hadn't set things up yet. And this just rough and tumble cowboy ghost just pushed me aside, not trying to push me down the stairs, but pushed me down just the last 3 stairs. I hit so hard. Boom, boom, boom. I hit my head. I hurt one arm, hit the other leg, and literally fractured my tailbone.
Jeez.
I sat there going, oh, this hurt. I think I shook the whole place because it's old. The one area that wasn't on camera, sadly, and nobody was right there. I sat there for a few minutes going, yeah, this is bad. But everything was fine. Went on with the day, but they give you a fractured tailbone. They just give you a donut pillow and some ibuprofen. It's fine. But I had not set up my protections yet. So know what you're doing. Learn whatever belief system. There's a million ways to set up your boundaries and protections, but just do it. Work within your religion. Work within your magic. Create one for yourself if you don't have one. Do it.
So another location I just want a quick touch base on, since you live out in the California area. Have you ever been to the Winchester Mystery House?
Yes, I've done several, and I have a brand new Ghost Adventures coming up. We just shot it. I don't know when this is airing. What is this airing? We don't know.
For what, them or this?
This. We don't know.
Probably within the next couple days.
Okay. So. On April 23rd is the new Ghost Adventures. We went and we literally brought Harry Houdini's only remaining blood relative, and I did a seance to conjure Houdini. You got to tune in, April 23rd, Ghost Adventures. I've got a couple new ones with them that haven't aired now that they finally started the new season. But the Winchester Mystery House, it's a wild place in itself, not counting ghosts, because Sarah Winchester made it, and she did lots of seances there, and her psychic had said that the house would be cursed by everyone killed by a Winchester rifle. So she kept building 30 years, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, stairways to nothing, doors to drop. I got lost in there. I would still be there. I would be lost without somebody to direct me. It's just 13 kitchens. It's just room after room. So it's spooky and beautiful. again, I can't talk anything about the Ghost Adventures until that airs. But I went there with Jim Martin of Spirit Realm not too long ago, and we did all sorts of fun things. And again, there's happy ghosts there. Sarah Winchester was happy. She showed herself. We danced in the ballroom. So I like missing the happy and ghosts. So Winchester Mystery House is definitely go visit if you can.
My daughter Natalie thinks I'm crazy that it's not one of the locations I really want to go to. It'd be like, I don't know, for me it's just at the bottom of the list, but I still want to go. But so like I had reached out to them like, hey, is there somebody from the location that would like to be on the podcast? They said they can't do that. But they did give us 2 free passes to go there for like, a couple of the 2-hour tours.
Good.
So now I just got to find the money to fly out there.
Do it. Go do it. Make it happen.
So it's going to happen, but I have those passes are good for a year, so.
Oh, that's good.
Next year I'll get
the house is worth it in itself. Not even just doing the tour will happen. Again, there's some stuff upstairs that we did again that will come out soon. It was pretty amazing. We got some amazing evidence, and I love Victorian. I mean, I would live in the Winchester Mystery House. My house is like a low budget Victorian. Okay. It's really a bungalow, but I would if I could.
All right. So I also noticed when I was looking through your website, the Parapod Awards. I've never heard of that before the other day. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I've been doing I have not missed a week in like 5 years now. I've hit 200 and some episodes last. So it's Parapod. It's put by his name is Tony Sweet, and it's the Parapod Awards, and I forget the name of the organization right now, but they have, because people didn't give a lot of, podcasts don't get a lot of love, like TV and this and that and short festivals. So we started the Parapod Awards. I was up for one last year. I was up for 2. I was up for Best Podcast. I didn't win it, but a girl who said her show 10 years won it. But I did win Best TV Psychic.
Nice, congratulations.
I won over Chip Coffey and Tyler Henry, and I'm like, I can't win over them because Chip Coffey, he's the old guard. He's been around forever. And then Tyler Henry's the new up and coming. I'm going to be lost in the middle, but I won it 2 years ago. And this year I actually won it for the best. I've got 2 beautiful statues.
Nice.
It's an honor. It's really cool. But yeah, anybody find out about Parapod Awards. People can submit people. I think you could submit yourself, having somebody submit you. And then I don't know, people vote how it works, but it's cool. It's
I'll have to check that out.
Check it out.
I never heard about it until I think it was just yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, it was an honor. They had an award show and everything, and it was cool.
All right, so jumping into your books you've written, can we touch base on the old world magic for the modern world, and then your upcoming book, Dollcraft?
Yes. Old world magic for the modern world. Again, I work with clients privately, and I just work with spirit to know it. The old world magic is literally a book of hacks to bring magic. Simple hacks anybody can do to bring magic into every moment of your day. From the bathroom magic, why you carve something in your soap, why a little handful of salt just on a shower, how to charm your toothpaste, why you'd put a pinch of salt in the commode before you sit down. All your lower chakras are open when you go to the bathroom. You could release stress and things. Water is a conduit for emotion. Little things. Why you stir your coffee or your tea or your kids' oatmeal one direction or the other direction. How to soothe an argument using basil and itching to make things. Cinnamon will bring in the fire. Just a little touch of basic spell casting for anybody. You don't have to be a psychic. You don't have to medium. You don't have to be a witch. I don't get into religion. Just the magic of the energy of nature. Even talking how to communicate with dead people. Even how to do that. So I did that about 5 years ago because I ended up telling so many people, follow moon cycles, get out in nature, or hug a tree. Figured if I put in a book, I won't have to say it all the time.
Right.
So it's been a bestseller for 5 years, self-published. This past year, I was part of a group book I'm really proud of on intuition. It's called Women Gone Wild Intuition Edition. But they brought 20 women from around the world, all experts in intuition, all different fields, not paranormal or spirituality. There's medical doctors, there's Fortune 500 women business coaches, but how we all look at intuition, and we each had a chapter. This past year, we did a big book launch in New York and LA. In New York, we had one of those big light up billboards that like 100,000 feet big in the middle of Times Square. There's our faces. It was like, doing all these talk shows and book signing. So that's out, called Women Gone Wild. But my new baby it's called Dollcraft, a witch's guide to magical puppets and haunted dolls. I'm a haunted doll girl, obviously. That's why Zach called me in for thing. I've been collecting dolls my whole life. Not all haunted. I have hundreds of Barbies. Not a one of them is haunted. But other dolls are. And there is something to the care and feeding of haunted dolls. Everybody wants a haunted dolls. I know more adults with doll collections than my parents would have ever had. Grown men, grown women with, here's my dolls. But you have to do it right. A haunted doll can literally make you sick or drain your energy or cause chaos in your home and illness in your home. So I just wanted a how-to care and feeding, even how to acquire one. I think you can get just as good a one at a thrift store or a second-hand store as some of those eBay dealers when they have 912 haunted dolls. How to tell if it's really haunted, how to protect yourself, how to get bad spirits out and still keep a good spirit in. And the other half of the book, since I do like to combine my witchy world and my paranormal world, is magic, how to create poppets. Poppets are little magic dolls used for magic. A lot of people will mistake it for a voodoo doll, but it isn't. It's like, it looks like a little gingerbread. It could look like anything. It could be clay, or it could be bread, or bunny sack, or I make them out of paper napkins. They're to represent. You could do a money doll, a health doll, a wealth doll. I have one that represents me. Like, say if I got a head, or say if I broke my tailbone, I literally put a little pin in my tailbone, like acupuncture in my doll. You keep them on your altar. You could burn them or bury them. So it's a book on how to do poppets for health and wealth, and both edible ones and burnable ones and buryable ones for everybody. Again, you don't have to be a witch, just magical, positive puppets. So I wanted to again combine those two worlds. What's bringing them together is the doll aspect.
All right.
Yeah. I'm excited. It comes out in June, first week of June, from Llewellyn. You could pre-order it now on my website. You could do signed copies coming up. You could order it from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Llewellyn. It's going to be everywhere.
All right. So let's just talk about, how do you go about balancing your life? You had talked about that a little bit earlier today when you were speaking.
Yes. I think the one thing, it is all about balance. Balance in everything. Work and play and food and sleep and indoors and outdoors. But none of us are in balance right now. The world is not in balance right now. We've been living in chaos as we move into that age of Aquarius. They're saying about politics, this and that. Everybody's like, going on. And the one thing lacking, which affects all of us, is balance. So I'm very elemental in my work, in my witchcraft. I work with nature. Nature is the one thing that balances us. So I figure I'm a big believer of that mind, body, spirit philosophy that 20,000 books are written about, psychology books, self-help books, magical books, religious books. Mind, body, spirit. You'll never surpass your own thought pattern. You have to believe you can do it, you deserve it, you can do it. Will never surpass. Mind, body, you have to take action, get off the couch. Spirit is that untangible, but the battery that makes it happen. You could do that through going to church and praying. You could do that through vision boards and affirmations. You could do that through spell crafting, candles and herbs and oils. But anybody, you could look at everything you've accomplished, which is a lot. You're here now doing this. You have a podcast, beautiful. Everything you have, you believed you can do it and you deserve it. You've gotten off the couch and you've had the magic or belief behind it. The stuff you haven't quite done, or anybody hasn't quite done, one or two of those things just need tweaking. You don't really believe you can have it, or you haven't taken action towards it, or the magic. So to get balance back, I'm like, we need nature. So if you put your body into the 4 elements, air, fire, water, earth. Your earth is who you are. That's your persona. Oh, that's Matt. That's Fred. Oh, what a nice guy. They're funny. They're serious. Whatever that is, it's your home. It's how you're known as. That's your earth. It's in the north. Your fire is your passion, creativity, love, sex, gods, what gets you up in the morning. That's your spirituality. Who you are and what drives you, basically. Who you are and what drives you. North and south. But where we all get off balance is west and east. water and air. West in an elemental compass is water. It's our emotions. Our bodies are 70% water plus. Water has to flow, can't be judged, stuffed down, ignored. The flow of water. Air is thought, focus, clarity, organization, and it's all attached to breathe. No one breathes anymore. So basically who we are and what drives us, our emotions and our thoughts. Where do we always get messed up? Our emotions and our thoughts. What do we need more than anything to survive, more than a few minutes or a few days? Air and water. So if we know nature can balance us, that's the touchstone. Next time you're not as happy as you could be, or productive as you can be, or even conscious, awake. We don't want to be phoned in, asleep at the wheel, automatic pilot, biro. We don't. That's the zombies going into. So just if you're not as happy or productive, going, okay, where am I out of balance? It's my emotions. I had a fight with somebody, or somebody, whatever that is. That's your water element. What you need is water. Flowing water, running water. That's why you feel good after every shower, whether you think about it. It's like, I feel good now. I took a shower. It's literally like an aspirin takes away a headache, this running water takes away. But you can't jump in a shower a bunch of times a day, but you could always find a sink, a faucet, a hose, bathroom, lunchroom, pour a little bottle of bottled water on your hands. So if it's a mind, body, spirit, walk up to the sink going, whether you're talking to the element of water, your own emotions, or God, or your spirit guides, with this water, I'm going to release my angst, anger, fear, whatever it is. Run your hands, body, underwater, because we have portals in all our hands. So I wear these funny little gloves. We have portals in our fingers. Run your hands, body, underwater. The water is the spirit. Water always relaxes. Within 30 seconds, you will healthfully release angst, anger, fear, sadness, whatever it is, within a healthy way. Then you could deal with whatever caused it, or just release it. You're not holding it in your jaw or in your belly or whatever. So that's half of what we do. And the other half is air. No one can think straight because no one breathes anymore. Chatty brain, yeah, we get it. Foggy brain, yeah, we get it. Because we breathe shallow. We just got out of 2 years of wearing masks on our face. Yes. Mask, and we're always in a hurry. We're breathing fast, no deep breathing. And it's more than just your 3 times a week yoga class or your morning meditation. It's the whole day. So to get that, all of a sudden I'm chatty brain, I need to focus, breathing. But to make it in 30 seconds, I add sound. I do a lot of sound magic. It's called Heka work. Every sound we make literally has an effect on us. Every consonant, every vowel is form, it's force, just like you're learning speech class. But without giving you all of that, that's why we rhyme, that's why we chant, whether singing hymns in church or doing a beautiful little spell or chant. But vowels clear the head every time. Think about it, almost every sacred word is a vowel. Amen, Om. In East Indian, Native American, opens up this crown of illumination, all 5 senses. So again, next time you're going, I can't think, I've got to have a important conversation. Okay, whether you're talking to God or your brain cells or the element of air itself, whatever that is to you, with this 30 seconds of deep breathing, 30 seconds of vowels, I need to pull in the element of air. So whether you sit in your car and go ah, or om, or E-I-E-I-O, whatever, sing with your kid. This chatter stops, the fog lifts, and the clarity comes in. Those 2 things I've seen people get off depression meds and everything else and just flip their life completely. And those are the 2 that mostly is. But sometimes we're not grounded. Sometimes, wait, come back in your body. Many of us, especially gifted people, especially people who live in our little paranormal world, come back to your body if you're not feeling grounded. That's earth. Hug a tree. Get quick barefoot on grass. But if you can't, you're at work and you're in an office building, grab a pencil, grab your crystal, grab a stone. Anything, rock or wood or stone or living plant. And you can always find hardwood floor, the wooden chair, granite countertop, the crystals we all wear. Well, hold on to that, breathe into it. I feel it like a warm earthen blanket wrapping around it. I'm grounded and back in my body. Everyone feels it differently, but you'll be grounded in 30 seconds. That number 2 pencil still has the spirit of the tree it came from. And the last one for fire, we really need to even out, because when we have too little fire, we're lethargic and we're tired and we're uninspired, and that's even our spirit. We have too much fire, we're angry and agitated and whatever, we cause fights and blah, blah, blah. So we want to find it out and control it. So if you can't dance around a bonfire, which is my first choice, the heka, the sound magic for that is Z. You know, ask a little 8-year-old, what is that? Zzz. It's the lightning strike. That's that lightning strike between heaven and earth. It's that dragon's breath. So, okay, too much, I'm agitated, too little, I'm lethargic, got a hot date with your honey or whatever, or want to talk to this Holy Spirit, whatever that is. Okay, I need to balance out the fire element, whether you're talking to the breath of a dragon, paleovolcano, Holy Spirit, whatever. 30 seconds of deep breathing, 30 seconds of this lightning strike. I need to pull in the fire element. Zzz. 30 seconds is a long time. You might get dizzy, sit down, okay. But within 30 seconds, you start to feel a tingling in the base of your spine. It'll rise up your spinal cord, that kundalini energy, up your chakras. And you'll have balanced out either direction, the fire, passion, creativity, energy, whatever you need to balance out. God, the universe, the aliens, whoever gave us everything we have to balance ourselves out. We just got away from it. We just got away from it. Ancient man knew it. We don't. Now we do.
Yeah. All right, one last thing before we end. So what do you have going on the rest of the year that people can go out and find you and hear you talk and just get to know you?
All sorts of things. I travel a lot. Last year I literally had 35 trips. I'm doing Pennhurst is a big one. I'm going to Texas, a thing in Louisville, Dallas area. I do a little magical weekend. I'm doing one in North Dakota, I think, at Crescent Moon. Put on my website, PattiNegri.com. You can find everything. I'm doing Rock Island. Pennhurst is my next big public one coming up. In Vegas, we're going to come play with the vampires the first week in May. 3 days of Vampire Ball. I'm going to be doing a seance there, which is really fun. I don't know, a bunch of stuff. Just go to PattiNegri.com. I list it. I have everything that's going on and links to get to it. Because that's why I do a weekly things with my podcast. Where's Patti? Because I wake up, I have no idea where I am.
Oh, I get that. Sometimes it's like my mind is in a blurry moment.
Yeah,
there's so much going on.
Yeah, so lots going on. It's good. So come visit. And I teach anybody at the world's most affordable spirituality school, literally $10 to $20 a class to learn mediumship, spell casting. I have 20 teachers, all different belief systems. They get to say this is a truth or my truth, not the truth, because there's many truths out there. Wednesday I have my movie coven, so you can come visit me online on Zoom screens or real.
All right. Well, I thank you for joining me tonight. It was great getting to know you and chatting.
Thank you. You're a great host. It was an honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. And with that, I will say good night, everybody, and we shall talk soon.